favorite cars that get most of my job done.
Loving that beat. Reminds me of Sundays with Sinatra. What do you think, James?
Hey, sounds good to me.
All right. Welcome to Speak Out. It is Friday, August 23rd, 2024, and James Jarman here on the program, director
I'm glad you remembered.
No,
did you have it written down?
I'm having a bad Jeopardy day, man. Be careful. Be careful. I might snap. Executive Director of College Communications. That's what when I have those little brain farts, you know?
Yeah.
I call them bad Jeopardy days.
Yeah. Did you watch Jeopardy a lot? I used to watch Jeopardy a lot.
I was a religious
90s.
Jeopardy. It was on my bucket list for years.
Yeah, the early 2000s and that. Yeah, and it was, if I ever wanted to feel, if I felt like I was getting a little too cocky, I'd watch Jeopardy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially if Ken Jennings was on.
Oh, yeah, that was more recent, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then they did those shows with the IBM computer, right? Or Watson?
Yeah. When he went against them.
Oh, my way. That was like the precursor to AI, but we digress. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. And we have, if you want to know how to go to school or back to school or enroll in school or how to find the money for school, we have the answers right here.
We do.
Right?
We do.
Laeken Fox is with us. She's a financial aid specialist. Now, you work at the campus in Havasu, correct?
Yes, I am based in Havasu, but here shortly I'll be traveling through all campuses.
Oh, wow. Okay. And she looks like she just got out of maybe high school, but I'm probably...
Well, guess how old Paul is.
Paul is she already knows.
Over 60.
She already knows.
He looks like he's maybe 30-something.
Yeah,
right?
we were talking about liquor consumption and how I really don't partake.
Yeah,
right.
It helps not age.
And this is why, because of my youth.
And Laeken is 55. You would never know.
That's great.
That's what good living gets.
If you said 35, I might. If you said 25, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and this is a good tease to Laeken. Look up at the camera there. So now when everybody, when you go watch on the college Facebook page, Instagram page, social media, and the college website, we'll put the Bighorn Blast podcast out there.
You beat me to it.
Yeah, so it'll be out there. It's on the college YouTube channel on the playlist there where we put it. But
definitely
you'll be able to see Laeken and see the very young Paul Lavoie.
Oh, not that young. I feeling old now. I'm told by a place that we play here locally, they want to book through April. So that just adds to the feeling old part, right? One night on stage is like a week of living. So I'm just saying, it ages you, guys. It ages you. It's not all glamour out there. So anyway, excuse me. Welcome to the show. It is the Bighorn Blast podcast.
Yeah.
And man, everything's going full swing at MCC.
I tell you, we got a lot going on.
Not even sure how long it's going to be MCC, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. We'll get to that. What the board's
going
to be making a decision in September, but Laeken is here because we get so many people who don't understand the financial aid process and the fact that really, when you look at the demographics of Mohave County and the socioeconomic demographics is what I'm talking about, there are so many people out there that if they would contact Laeken, contact the financial aid office after they fill out the application. If you think you're not college material, we hear that all the time, fill out the application. We meet you at your academic level and then work you up, and we can get you in touch with Laeken and the financial aid office so that you'll most likely, in a lot of cases, not all cases, but many cases, when you look at the demographics of the county, you will most likely qualify for some type of grant. Right. And the Pell Grant, in many cases, we'll have students that will come in and be shocked that they didn't realize that they qualify for tuition, housing, and they'll have, where you drive back and forth, they'll cover pretty much all of the costs associated with college. And so Laeken is here to talk a little bit about that and walk people through it.
So back in the day, the early 80s when I went to college, I did qualify for a Pell Grant, but it was a one-time deal. It was like $500 back in the day, which paid for my books and materials and supplies for like one semester. Has it changed at all?
I would say yes. So you do have a Pell LEU, so it's your lifetime eligibility. It's 600%, so it's typically so you can get up to your bachelor's degree. And then after you have your bachelor's, you're no longer eligible for the Pell Grant.
What does 600% mean? 600% of what?
600% of your eligibility. It's typically you use up about 100% each academic year.
Oh, okay.
And so the eligibility is what they use when the federal government for the Perkins, or for the Pell Grant, excuse me, will look at your personal situation. So what you'll get would be different than what I would get, would be different than what Laeken would get. And so that's what she's talking about, is the 600% there of what you would qualify for. Yeah.
I got you. What's the biggest misnomer you think about financial aid? What do students expect, and what can you deliver?
I think the biggest thing is students come in all the time and they say, I'm not going to do the FAFSA, I'm not eligible, I make too much money. But that's not always the case. There's always some sort of grant, scholarship, loan that you may qualify for. So I always recommend to do that FAFSA no matter what, no matter how much you make.
Yeah, explain what the FAFSA is. I mean, we talk about it a lot on the show, but we have a lot of new listeners as well. Explain what that is.
Yep, it's the free application for federal student aid, but most institutions use it for their eligibility criteria as well. So it'll be for your federal direct loans, the federal Pell Grant. Most scholarships will use it because it will give you an SAI, which is the Student Aid Index. It used to be known as the Estimated Family Contribution, which is basically the formula the Department of Education uses to make up what you can provide towards your education.
Hence the 600%.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
600% of the SAI. Okay.
600% is more so over the course of your education. So
Through
you
your
have,
bachelor's.
Yeah, through your bachelor's.
So it's not a one-time deal.
Nope.
Oh, wow.
So you could get this every year, and it would just keep using up that LEU.
Yeah.
600%.
The LEU, the SAI, the FAFSA. I love it.
Yeah, that's part of it. And then when people call in, they'll be sure if you have any questions, like what does that even mean?
Right.
Laeken will walk you through the acronyms and what they all mean, because a lot of people, for us in the business, and it's with any business, you get used to the acronyms and you often forget.
Sure.
When you're just talking to somebody, oh yeah, that's LEU. That's what this means. Yeah.
So yesterday the Speak Out line was down. But today, thanks to the genius of Allo and one installer named Cameron, the Speak Out line is up and running. So 928-854-5687, 928-854-KNTR. And you can also text. This is text radio now, by the way.
There we go.
Text and talk.
2024, here we are.
So don't make it listen radio. Make it talk radio and text radio. It's 928-727-5566. And should you ask me a question and not make some political statement, I will ask that question of our guest, 928-727-5566. And the financial aid office, right now, I think school started Monday is what I heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is it too late to ask for financial aid?
It is not. So right now you would be at risk if you were applying for MCC and you wanted to start right away. You would want to sign up for the payment plan, but it's not too late. It's never too late to do the application. You could do that up until the end of each semester, and then for the academic year it would be the following June of the academic year.
Okay.
And when you talk to students who say that they don't want to fill that out, I'm not going to qualify, you'd kind of mention that we encourage them to fill it out anyway. Talk a little bit about why that is, because there are a lot of grants. The foundation has scholarships as well.
Absolutely.
That's really the FAFSA is really the starting point for a lot of it. Everybody pins their qualifications on that FAFSA.
Is it a must, by the way?
It is not. So you can choose to go to college and pay out of pocket. You don't have to do the FAFSA, but you would be missing out on some opportunities. So even if you don't think you qualify, there's the unsubsidized loans that we see a lot of people with high SAIs, high income, getting those unsubsidized loans. They're much better than private loans. You have that grace period, so you don't have to make payments while you're in school at least half time. You have that 6 months after you drop below half time where you don't have to make payments. Better opportunities with filling out the FAFSA for sure.
Yeah. All right.
What do you find out from parents? I've heard from some students. A couple of students have told me, well, my parents just don't want to fill it out. They don't want to get into it. They've heard that it's confusing. What do you tell those students?
It is unfortunate at times when parents will refuse to do it, because really there's no way around that parent contributor portion of the FAFSA unless you have certain circumstances, and they have to be those circumstances. So I would just recommend, help your child out, help them with those expenses. It takes anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to get the application done, and it's a pretty streamlined process now with the new FAFSA simplification.
What's the reason for refusal? Like a government overreach, or they just don't want Big Brother messing in their bank accounts, or?
I would say
they're in there anyway, folks.
Yeah, that is probably the biggest reason, I would say. And now with this year, there is the new consent and approval. So with the application, everyone has to provide consent and approval for all of your income information to pull straight from the IRS, which is scary for a lot of people. But it's really the best way to do it. It gives the most accurate data.
What are we looking at right now, cost-wise, for Mohave Community College, cost per credit?
Yeah, we're at $91 per credit hour.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, it's one of the most affordable in the state, and I mean it's a fraction of the cost of what you pay at the universities, which are also our partners. But you can come to the MCC first, get your freshman and sophomore years out of the way. Roughly, you're looking at about $5,500 a year.
Right.
So that's what, or $5,500 total, I should say, for the for your associate degree, right?
Right.
So when you factor that in, I mean, you're looking at paying $12,000 on average at one of the state universities for just tuition alone, and then you can add another 12 to 15 for room and board if you're going to stay at the campus or you're going to live off campus somewhere. So you're looking at a bill of about $30,000 at the university versus staying at home or staying where you're living now, knocking out those first 2 years at MCC, and then take those credits and transfer them straight over to ASU, transfer them to the University of Arizona or Northern Arizona University, walk in there as a junior, and take all that savings with you.
Here's a great follow-up question, though. You mentioned all the Arizona universities. What if they want to go out of state?
Yep, we have a little over 20 university partners in different states, and if you go to the website and you just up in the search bar type university partners, it'll pull up that page and you can see everybody who accepts our credits. One of the other big ones that does do it is GCU, and then WGU, which is an online school that has some limited offerings for bachelor's degrees.
Right.
By limited, I mean they do business, I think, they do IT, they do education. So if you want to be a teacher, you want to go into IT, you want a business degree or a master's degree, you can go to WGU. It's all online, and they're a partner, so they accept the MCC credits as well.
Wow, fantastic. So, Laeken, there's those parents out there listening that have a high school junior or high school senior. When did they do the FAFSA?
I would say senior year, get it done as soon as you can. So the FAFSA typically opens October 1st. So for the 25-26 academic year, so next year, they're doing a soft launch on October 1st. Soft launch meaning it's only going to be available for select students. They've been having some issues since this new FAFSA simplification has gone out, but everybody should have access to next year's FAFSA by this December 1st.
Okay, because you want that SAI number. You want to know what that is before you start applying for, grants and other financial aid, correct? You would want to know what that is. It can change based off of when the schools receive your FAFSA. We do verification that could change that SAI, but you would definitely want to know a broad spectrum of what you think you might be offered. Yeah, so much different.
Yeah, and what she was talking about, I think it made headlines this past year when the federal government changed the system to try and simplify it. Created a lot of delays.
The federal government created a problem? No. Say it ain't so.
So they've got it. I think they've got it figured out now. But from what I was reading, one of the issues was what those students had mentioned, which was, and you had brought up, with the parents were a little leery about putting their tax information in there, and that's because the federal government already has their tax information. So why can't you just get it from them? Yeah. Well, they weren't communicating. Well, now they're communicating with the IRS to hopefully make that simpler, so you don't have to go back and find all your tax returns, upload it, because then you have to upload them into the system. And a lot of people don't have scanners at home to scan their documents and upload them. So the college can help. If you do need help, we can help walk you through that. But that was one of the reasons. So now hopefully it's getting a lot simpler, where you can put in your Social Security number, get your financial documents there, and the government agencies are now working together to make it easier for you. That's how it's supposed to be working.
I know where my scanner is. Right next to my fax machine. I'm kidding. Actually, we have all that here. I just come to the office. All right. back with more in a moment. We're with James Jarman. He is the Executive Director of College Communications for Mohave Community College, and Laeken Fox, who is the Financial Aid Specialist here in Havasu, soon to be at all of the campuses. And Laeken giving us the rundown on Mohave Community College and financial aid, and we got a whole lot more to talk about because the first home soccer game is next week. There's a lot more. We've got the MCC, what is it, the Bighorn Broadcast? What do you call that? The newscast?
The Bighorn Blast Newscast.
Yeah.
And the Bighorn Blast Podcast, which both can be found at mohave.edu/newsroom. Or if you just go to mohave.edu, scroll to the bottom of the page, you'll see news and events. Just click the More News tab.
So Gen Z knows what a newscast is, right?
Yeah. Before we did have to rebrand it as Bighorn Blast. Some folks who longtime listeners may remember that because a lot of the younger generation, we used to call it the Mohave Minutes, kind of a play on 60 Minutes. Well, they didn't watch 60 Minutes. They thought minutes meant like meeting agenda minutes, so they weren't watching. Yeah.
Well, thank goodness they're watching now.
Yeah.
All right. Back with more on the Bighorn Blast podcast in a moment. All right, a little classic rock going out for James Jarman. You like that 80s classic rock?
Yeah, love it.
I love that song. That's Kenny Jones on drums. It's not Keith Moon, but Kenny Jones was solid live. I saw the Who live.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Kenny Jones was from a band called Faces. Rod Stewart and Faces. But, he's solid. So, anyway, Speak Out, brought to you in part by, I know, he's looking at me like a deer in the headlights here, James. Just nod your head and agree, right?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, you're going deeper than me.
My mom would say, blink your eyes if the question's too hard. All right, Speak Out, brought to you in part by Mohave Mortgage. Love those guys. Also, Bradley Chevrolet and Bradley Ford by Just Meats, all the cuts, all the time. A locally owned and operated butcher shop in Lake Havasu City. By Patio Paradise. By Salmon's Air Conditioning, serving the tri-state area for over 53 years. They're older than James Jarman, older than the London Bridge.
No, not quite.
Not quite
Close.
older?
Close, yeah.
And they're 1 year older than the London Bridge. Ask about Salmon's Superior Maintenance Plan. And by Hangar 24. You've eaten there before, correct?
I have not been
you
there.
You have not?
No, I haven't been there. Yep,
all right.
Stop in.
Curtis, I'm officially on him now. I'm gonna be like, did you eat at Hangar 24 yet?
Every time. Yeah.
Great food, great brews.
That's what I've heard.
Great drinks.
How about you, Laeken? Have you been there? She hasn't been. Oh, no.
You have not been there. Great entertainment. I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
And go out to Hangar 24. They'll have live entertainment tonight, open till 9 o'clock. And just a great family atmosphere, too. It's really strange that you can get service like that with the bar and the food. And it's just a great place for families.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can, especially with the music. And then you have bingo on Thursday nights. I think it returns in September. So there you have it. All right, stay tuned. You'll hear more about Hangar 24 on this show because we'll be running their spots. So, all right, we're back with James Jarman, Executive Director of College Communications at Mohave Community College, and Laeken Fox, who is the Financial Aid Specialist. And I wanted to talk to James a little bit about what's going on at the school because you got Bighorn soccer team home openers are next week, but they're already playing on the road, right?
Yep, they're playing preseason games on the road, and then they'll have, the first actual season game, the men just played up in Wyoming. And so that was actually preseason too. That one they dropped 3-1. I was told, and I'm waiting for the news release to come out. They were leading the game until really about the last 10 minutes, and then that's when the other team really came on and overtook them. But real close. And again, we're talking about a team that came together for the first time, had practice on August 1st, going against teams that have been playing together for several years. So to come out 3-1 and have been leading for a long time before that, I think we've got a great team here, and the more they play together, the better it's going to get. Yeah, and next Friday is when we have the home opener, season home opener,
right.
And that's at Firebird Field. And the city of Bullhead City has done an amazing job. The Parks and Rec Department fixed up the field. The boosters came in, gave some money there. They helped build up the field too. We have some new logos and signage going on the field, getting ready for the game. And the game entrance is free. When you go there, you can walk in. The boosters will be selling food at the concession stand and drinks. Get out there, watch the women play. Then the men come on on at 8:30. I think the women's game starts at 6 p.m. The men's game's going to start next Friday at 8:30, and we'll have some celebration either before or in between the games where we'll honor folks from the boosters, we'll honor the city, give them some plaques, do some recognition for the folks that really made this happen, because it really was a grassroots effort that started this movement to get athletics at the college.
Right. Yeah. Well, that field was originally torn up years ago. It was, and then they got the Fiesta Bowl grant, and the field actually came out of Chase Field. They change it every year. They grant it. They give it to an organization that applies for that grant. So that field was placed in square by square, and then but they had to do a lot of prep work first underneath there because of the lime in the soil. So there's a really good story behind that field.
Well, that whole complex, that Rotary Park complex down there, is really a jewel of the city, and it's one of those places when people come out, you'll hear people say, we're going to run down, you got to see the park, because there's so many, they got the baseball fields, the softball fields, the soccer fields, the football, and then you got the river right there, and then you have, the playgrounds for the kids and the walking trails. So it's really just a great location, and they did donate also, not far from there, the Boys and Girls Club in Fort Mohave. They also have a field that was donated from them. So
right. Yeah. So anyway, the soccer team looking for good things from Camilo Valencia.
Yep. He's the head coach and the athletic director. He's the men's head coach, and then Rob Podine is the women's head coach. And so, really just great recruiting those guys did, and the soccer season is underway. I think a lot of people, a couple of years ago when it was brought up, were kind of questioned, I don't know if this is going to happen. But it was full steam ahead. It's been full steam ahead the whole time, getting everything. A lot of logistics in the background have to be done to make this happen. And really the boosters came together, which made up of a lot of community and business leaders in Bullhead City who really wanted this to happen.
And Lake Havasu City.
Started getting into
Radio
it now.
Central being one of them.
And the boosters, if you want information on the boosters, just shoot me an email. You can shoot an email to mcc@mohave.edu, and we'll put you in touch with them, because they are looking for more boosters and more participation in Havasu and in Kingman. And the plan for the boosters, what the boosters' goal is to try to bring more athletics in. And so as the college, though, is looking at, let's give the soccer a few years, make sure this is a success, and it can run properly, we can do it, make it a success, and then we'll look at possibly some other sports if there's community demand for it.
Perfect. All right, we're going to take our next break, the hour.
Okay.
Sound like a plan?
Sounds
on the
good.
Bighorn Blast podcast, also known as Speak Out.
Yep.
Or is it the other way around?
Speak Out. Yeah. Well, we do the Bighorn Blast podcast, sponsored by KNTR Speak Out.
Or powered by, right?
Powered by.
Yeah,
that's it. Not sponsored.
I don't know who came up with that.
Well, if you want to be a sponsor at Firebird Field, that was where I was going with it next. You can send an email to soccer@mohave.edu.
Nice.
We have some signage going up down there now, and with them the soccer program, the athletic program, and the boosters are going to be selling sponsorships down there, including naming rights for the concession stand area right there.
Have they played Yavapai yet? Do you know?
No, haven't played Yavapai.
Not yet.
I think they're on the schedule twice.
That's a nationally known program.
Yeah, well, and we're in a tough conference. Arizona Western is ranked top 5 in the nation right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Right, I have a nephew who was recruited by Yavapai back in the day.
Yeah.
Yep,
and that's where Camilo played when they were national champions.
Oh, he did?
Yavapai.
Wow.
Yep.
No kidding. All right, back with more in a moment. We're with James Jarman, Director of College Communications at MCC, and Laeken Fox, who is the Financial Aid Specialist here at the Havasu campus, soon to be county-wide, right? Looking forward to going to Colorado City then?
I don't think I'll be up there too much.
No?
Mostly in Bullhead and Kingman.
Oh, I hear it's really nice up there, though.
It is. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
8-hour round trip, but, it's beautiful up there.
And I hear the property values are taking off up there.
Oh,
Big time.
Yeah, they were just on Channel 12 News out of Phoenix was
really?
up there, talking to the mayor, who actually also works at the college up there.
He's been on Speak Out.
The mayor of Colorado City?
Yes.
Yeah, and he works at the college, so we're happy about that.
Nice.
And so he was on there as well, but it's about the transition that's happening up there. Really trying to get into a nice tourist location for the North Rim.
Right. It's the Sedona of the North.
Yeah.
is what they're calling it. All right, back with more in a moment. I'm Paul. All right, walk-up music for Charlie Blackmon, right, of the Colorado Rockies. I have to play that for you, like, every time you're on, because you're the Colorado guy.
Yeah, that wasn't really a big Rockies fan, more Broncos.
But I can't play walk-up music for the Denver Broncos. Plus, I used to be a Raider fan, so you couldn't even...
Oh, boy.
I wouldn't even let my daughter date a Bronco fan.
Well, that's what's funny. Now that we're out here, I guess we are homers. So now we're,
You're a homer like me.
Cardinals and Raiders, now that they're in Vegas, we're going to split
Diamondbacks.
between the two.
Cardinals, D-backs.
Baseball, yeah. Was never really a big baseball fan, but I get it.
Interesting.
I get it, yeah.
You don't have the patience for it.
Might be. I mean, I've been to. It's nice being at the games, but just watching them on TV, it's not a big.
So, are you a book reader or a movie watcher?
A little bit of both. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I do a little bit of both.
I'm definitely the movie watcher.
Are you?
Yeah. Write the book. I'll watch the movie. That's how it works. All right. Speaking of baseball, you've got the Diamondbacks return to action tonight at Boston. That's a 3:30 pregame over on the sports station, 94.3, 100.5, 980 AM. The D-backs and Red Sox all throughout the weekend. And we've got the Westwood One college football game of the week, SMU, and I'll say it, UNR. They call it Nevada. No. It's UNR, University of Nevada, Reno, all right? And because I'm UNLV.
Yeah, you went to UNLV.
You
so
don't call them they're not Nevada. They're Reno, all right? SMU at Reno at 4:30, the pregame on Saturday. And then you got the Cardinals at Broncos, a 1:30 kickoff on Sundays. So there you go. Your Broncos playing preseason, the last preseason game of the year, by the way. All right, Speak Out brought to you in part by Springburg Wealth Management, also by The Chair, by Mohave Community College, by samsguns.com, by SunPower, by Esme Electric, and by Dorita's Place, right? Providing Havasu with all-natural dog and cat food along with pet toys since 2006. And Laeken, do you have a dog or a cat?
I've got both, dog and two cats.
So you're more of a cat person than a dog person.
I would say so.
You're okay
yeah.
in my book then. All right, perfect. All right, so we got the Bighorn Blast newscast.
Yeah, we can listen to that, and then you can watch it if you go to watch the podcast. We'll put it on there.
So kind of tease me on this one so we can bring it up.
Yeah, so this one, it goes over what happened over the summer. So we had groundbreakings, we had ribbon cuttings, and then, of course, we had the soccer field getting ready as well. So it kind of covers what's happened since June up until about mid-August. And so we play these for our board every month. They didn't have a meeting in July, so that's why this one's a little longer. But we'll just play a couple of minutes of it, and then when we dip out, we'll tell you where you can find them.
All right, sounds good. Here's the Bighorn Blast newscast for August.
First up, historic news out of MCC. The Mohave Village Student Apartments open for business. It's the first and only college student housing in northwestern Arizona. Many employees spent the day helping students move into their new homes. Several dozen people attended the event, including city and county leaders, community members, and of course students, their family members, and employees. The housing project is already shifting the atmosphere on campus, bringing an exciting new college student life element that MCC never had before. But student housing is only one major move made by the college this summer. Ground was broken at the site of the future Advanced Manufacturing Training Center, or AMTC. A large crowd of local and state leaders were on hand for this history-making event. The governor had a scheduling conflict, but sent a video message to be played during the event.
This state-of-the-art 30,000 square foot facility is so much more than just a building. It represents the bright future that is possible for us all.
The AMTC will be Mohave County's premier workforce training center. Many career and technical education programs will be based there and work with local business and industry partners to enhance the regional workforce. The center is expected to be open for business by fall of 2025. Speaking of improving the regional workforce, the college is working with state and local partners to implement a new apprenticeship program in Mohave County. It's designed to help working students gain skills that their employers, who are partners in the apprenticeship program, want their employees to have. For more information, email Kirk Lacey at klacey@mohave.edu. Congratulations to the newest MCC nursing assistant graduates. Pinning ceremonies for the 2024 summer class were recently held. Graduates from all campuses were welcomed into the profession and celebrated among family, friends, and MCC employees. And congratulations to the Radiologic Technology class of 2024. They were also honored at a recent pinning ceremony in Bullhead City and celebrated with friends, family, and employees. To learn more about the college radiologic technology and nursing programs, just head to mohave.edu. In the middle of the homepage, click Health and Public Services, then scroll down and click the academic program of your interest. In athletics, the Booster Club held a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the new home field of the Bighorns men's and women's soccer teams. It's at the currently named Firebird Field at Bullhead City's Rotary Park. The Boosters and City have made some major improvements to the field, including areas for home and away teams. Stay tuned for sponsorship opportunities, including naming rights for the facility.
Improvements? You ain't kidding, man.
Yeah, it's looking great out
there. That's a nice looking field.
Mm-hmm,
I mean, that's the greenest soccer field I ever played on in this part of the country.
Yeah, Bullhead City Parks and Rec does an amazing job out there for everybody. And that field's not just for the college; it's for everybody to use as well. But yeah, if you're interested in those sponsorships, as I was saying earlier, get a hold of or just send an email to soccer@mohave.edu. They've got we're putting together a whole sponsorship package right now, but if you want to get in on the ground floor, give them an email and they'll get you set up with it. Yeah.
Are you working with those types of students as well, the student athletes, as far as student aid, financial aid goes?
Absolutely, yeah. I know we're having a lot of the soccer scholarships go out. I'm not too familiar with them, but I've definitely seen a ton of soccer scholarships.
How do those work, James? Do you know?
Well, that's all based on the coaches and the level of play by each individual player, so that's all decided at that level.
Are they doing full rides for community college now?
I think some do, yeah. So like it's all individual based, of course, so it's based on the level that they see you at. So it's college recruiting. So I was a college wrestler, so it was you get, here's what we're going to give you. Do you agree to this? It's, and you sign the agreement, so that's how that works.
And they have to keep up on their classes as well as, participate in athletics.
And that's
not an easy feat.
Yeah, one thing a lot of folks don't quite understand is when you take a step back and you look at the groups of students, student athletes actually do a lot better academically as a group than your average student.
Really?
And it's because they have to keep their grades up if they want to play the sport that they love.
Right. There was a program, I think it was on Netflix, and I can't remember the name of the show. It was about an NJCAA program out of Mississippi. It was a football program.
Oh, yeah.
A community college football team that had an athletic advisor that helped them navigate through, the exams and the rigorous schedule that they had for classes, and these guys were trying to get to a Division I school to play.
And we have advisors set up just for our players too. Yeah, so because you really do need, they're out playing. They have to go to the game. They went to the game in Wyoming. The men's team did. The ladies team went up to St. George, or the men's team was in St. George, but the ladies team's on the road as well. Wow. And so when they're on the road, they have to go. And so if you miss a class, everybody has to work. They're going to do their studying. They're going to be at studying on the trip. Right. They're going to put in their work, and then we meet them, and we just like we meet with everybody else. If you didn't graduate high school with good grades, but you want to go to college, come to MCC. We'll meet you where you are and help you get up to that level. If you graduated with, A's and B's, but you didn't get into the school you wanted, come take the savings at MCC, get your freshman, sophomore year out. We have students covering, we accept everybody. So when we say that, we mean it. And if you're not good at math, you can't do college math. Well, we're going to meet you at that level of math where you are and work you up to get you to that college level. And it's the same with athletes. We work with them, make sure that they're getting the work in that they need to get done so that they can succeed not only on the field but academically as well.
Was math your strong point, Laeken? Really? And you work with numbers now. How funny is that? All right, so branding. This is something that could really affect your office especially.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about MCC, and the governing board is going to make a big decision as to whether to drop community from the name.
Yeah.
Get into that for me, James.
So they're looking at, this all started a couple of years ago when the academic master plan came out, and the state of Arizona decided to allow two-year colleges, so the community colleges in the state, to offer bachelor's degrees. So in our academic master plan, it calls for rolling out bachelor's degrees starting in the year 26, 27.
So that's next year.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's going to happen. It still has to go. We have to go through the processes of getting, the accreditation approved, and then the board will have to approve the academic programs. But we're already seeing it as a success at other colleges around the state that have rolled out a couple of theirs. So it's going to happen. And then that brought up the question then, do we fit the brand that most people think of when they think of a community college?
Good point.
Because we're offering now not everything from your 2-hour jewelry making class on a Saturday to we're going to be offering bachelor's degrees, 4-year bachelor degree programs. So what brand do we fit? When you think of community college, you think of most people have one thing in mind, which is get your first 2 years out, transfer to a university, or we've got some non-credit
Or they
programs.
think of vocational.
They think of vocational. We start the AMTC. That was part of the discussion we had with community members, employees, and students was what should the name be? We're going to have the AMTC. We also have a lot of career and technical programs. We have nursing. We have the healthcare programs. Is it Mohave Technical College? Well, that also puts something in people's mind of what they think the college then offers, and it kind of excludes bachelor's degrees and the other side of it. So we offer so much that we looked at it, and the branding committee listened to all the feedback from the meetings we had throughout the communities and decided, okay, we need to look at Mohave College as an option because as a branding umbrella, that covers everything. It covers from your 4-year degrees to your non-credit, 2-3-hour jewelry making class, right?
Yeah.
We can offer much more, and it fits under that one umbrella, and it keeps us. There wasn't a lot of appetite for changing the name, right? But dropping that community out of it seemed like it still kept the history there, and the feeling was, based on the feedback we got from the community, that's the direction they think that the college should move in.
It takes the possibility for an acronym out of the equation, too, when you think about it. Most people are just used to saying MCC. You're not going to say MC or MCall, right?
Well,
you're going to say Mohave College.
Yeah, and we do have, that was part of the discussion as well, and we ran some community surveys. Part of the issue that we've run into when you talk about just branding is that when you go outside of Mohave County, MCC is Mesa Community College.
Oh,
it's the
right.
Maricopa Community College District.
Yeah.
We're known as Mohave. As soon as you step outside the borders in the world of higher education, at the legislature, in the general public, when they know about the college, they call us Mohave. Inside, we're MCC.
Sheriff's Office has the same problem. Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
With the MCSO.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
And we actually had, I had an advisor, once we started doing this, contact us because I had always said, that doesn't bother me as much. The identity issue, that doesn't bother me. Well, there is confusion because we had a student look up, a prospective student, a new student, look up the classes that she wanted to take. She came in, met with an advisor. She had Googled MCC and wound up with Mesa Community College's catalog. So she had classes from them. So there is confusion happening out there, especially for people who are new to the area.
What are the chances? What do you think? How do you think this is going to go?
I don't know. I'm 60-40 on it. So I lean towards Mohave College because it is a bigger umbrella. It's going to be up to the board.
Keeps you employed for another year, that's for sure.
It'll be a lot more work for us.
I know.
It's the cost. It doesn't cost that. The cost's already factored in because we're really talking most of what we're going to do if we do change it. We're changing the logo anyway because we've had the same logo since 2009, and that was part of the study and part of the feedback and part of the surveys was look at this logo. Now look at it compared to others throughout the state, other higher education institutions. It's not modern.
But
we have an older.
It changes a support mechanism known as the foundation, too.
The
it does change their name.
The official name won't change, though. The official name of the college district is the Mohave County Community College District.
Okay,
that won't change.
But
that'll
the
stay
MCC Foundation will be no longer.
It would be the Mohave College Foundation.
Exactly.
But they're really a separate entity, so they'll make that decision because it still is the Mohave County Community College.
Well, that would
district.
be confusing if they didn't change though.
Yeah, and I'm sure they probably would
because
it would align with everything else. And soccer teams, one of the things that they face is that identity issue, because when they say you're playing MCC, people assume you're playing Mesa Community College, right?
Yeah.
So they're on their uniforms, they chose already to make theirs Mohave because they play outside of the district a lot, and that's how people know us outside the district.
That's really interesting, because there's 200,000 or more Mohave County residents. There's 6.5 to 7 million Maricopa County residents.
Yeah.
So their name recognition is definitely more top of mind than ours.
Right. Yeah. And then we run into some confusion, when you go to the legislature and you talk to a lawmaker from outside the district.
Right.
They refer to it as Mohave. As soon as you say MCC, they start thinking, are you talking about Maricopa? Are you talking about Mesa?
Yeah, exactly. I get it. Mm-hmm. But where do you, we only have maybe a minute. Where do you start, James?
Yeah.
In your department?
Oh, if we did it, so we would.
The graphics part.
We would try to time it out so that it aligns with the first rollout of the first bachelor's degree program. So we have time. And for the cost savings, there's really, when we added it up, you're looking at, and these are already factored in. So this would happen anyway with a branding update. You're looking at outside signage, everything along the buildings, everything outside,
online,
and anything inside. No, not online, but just outside and indoor print, hard materials that go on buildings. You're looking at about 30,000. And then for everything else, which is pretty much digital, that's just the labor hours for our department to go change everything on the website. All we would do is we send a new logo over to the print shop, and they print out annually. Same, the letterhead, that cost's already factored in. All of those paper costs that have to happen annually, that's already factored in. It already happens. So that's we're doing it kind of on the cheap, you might say.
I'm glad he's got a handle on this, Laeken, and I don't have to. Wow.
Before we go, though, Laeken, there is an information session. When is that?
Oh, yes.
For financial aid?
Next Monday, all campuses will be having FAFSA workshops, so you can reach out, see what time it's at, and come down and get that FAFSA completed.
This coming Monday?
This coming Monday, the 26th.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
And to keep up to date with news and events, just go to mohave.edu, scroll to the bottom, and you'll see the news and events section.
Right.
Yep.
And see the Bighorn Blast newscast.
There you go.
But that does it for the Bighorn Blast podcast, as I look at the camera, right?
There you go.
I'm playing the camera like you used to back in the day.
30-year-old face.
Yeah, right. Face for radio. All right, back with more in a moment. We'll have a final shot. Thanks to Laeken Fox and, of course, James Jarman from Mohave Community College. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
going out a little.